Hello and welcome to EriStarUK Podcast, the voice that cuts through noise and narrative with unapologetic clarity. I'm your host, Auet Melache, and today we silence the propaganda. We confront it head-on. There's a repeated suggestion, sometimes dressed in Pan-African fabric, sometimes in fragile nostalgia, that Eritrea is better off with Ethiopia, that the two must reunite for stability, growth, or shared history. But here's the question no one dares ask out loud. Who really benefits? Who really needs who? And most critically, who still owns their own future? Currency doesn't lie. The Nakfa versus the beer. Let's begin with something the market never sugarcoats: the exchange rate. $1 today gets you 15 Eritrean Nakfa. That same dollar, it gets you 135 Ethiopian beer officially, and up to 200 beer or more on the black market. That isn't just a number, that's a diagnosis. Eritrea's fixed exchange rate policy reflects a stable, sovereign-controlled economy, one that hasn't collapsed under currency speculation, import addiction, or debt-induced inflation. Ethiopia, its beer, has become a symbol of systemic instability, battered by inflation, foreign dependency, and years of IMF-driven currency devaluation. To put it bluntly, Eritrea controls its economy. Ethiopia doesn't. Debtors' diplomacy. Who holds whose chain? Let's go deeper into the world of debt. Ethiopia today owes billions to the World Bank, to the IMF, to China, and through Eurobonds, even to Wall Street. In fact, Ethiopia spends more money servicing debt than it does on health and education, and just recently, it pleaded for debt relief and restructuring. Eritrea? No loans, no IMF handouts, no World Bank dependency, no foreign currency vultures hovering over Asmara's decisions. Why? Because sovereignty is non-negotiable, because independence wasn't won on the battlefield just to be surrendered on a spreadsheet. Who needs who? So, I'll ask again, who needs who? Eritrea doesn't need Ethiopia. Ethiopia needs Eritrea. Ethiopia is landlocked. Every economic plan it has, from import-export trade to regional influence, depends on access to the Red Sea. And where are those ports? Massawa, Assab, Eritrean, not Ethiopian. When Ethiopia tries to posture diplomatically, economically, or militarily, it inevitably circles back to one word: Eritrea. Eritrea holds geostrategic depth, military discipline, and regional credibility that Ethiopia is desperate to borrow. So again, who needs who? The historical truth they don't want told. And let's not forget, history speaks louder than sentiment. Eritrea's 30-year war of liberation was not just a fight against occupation. It was a global statement. No nation defines us but us. In 1991, Eritrea liberated itself. In 1993, Eritreans voted by over 99% for independence. And in 2002, the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague ruled that Badme belongs to Eritrea. Did Ethiopia honor that ruling? No. It ignored international law for over 16 years. So, remind me, again, who respects borders and who violates them, who follows principles and who plays propaganda. Sovereignty is not a slogan. Eritrea doesn't outsource its policy to embassies. Eritrea doesn't privatize its future for donor applause. Eritrea doesn't beg for development aid with strings attached. Ethiopia negotiates reforms through IMF power brokers, adjusts domestic policy to match USAID reports, shapes political discourse to please donors, not citizens. This is not independence, it's management under foreign custody. So I ask you again, who is truly sovereign here? Who owns their land, their money, their policy, and their pride? Eritrea's path, difficult but free. No, Eritrea is not perfect. It faces sanctions, demonization, and diplomatic isolation, not because it's a failure, but because it refuses to submit. Eritrea stands alone because it walks its own path. And maybe that's why this rhetoric about reuniting keeps surfacing, because a free-thinking, independent African nation terrifies those who've made begging bowls part of their national identity. Message to the misguided. To those still suggesting Eritrea is better off with Ethiopia, I say this: Eritrea is not lost. It is not waiting to be found. It is not half a nation looking for completion. It is a complete nation, carved by struggle, defined by discipline, and led by self-determination. We do not need Ethiopia. If anything, Ethiopia needs a mirror, and in that mirror, it may just see the sovereign image of Eritrea staring back, unbought, unbent, and unbroken. This is Auet Melache, and you've been listening to the EriStarUK Podcast, Unbought, Unbossed, Uncompromising. Thank you for walking this path with me. Until next time, guard your mind, protect your nation, and never confuse noise with knowledge. Stand firm, think sharp, and never trade your sovereignty for short-term applause.